the sugar daddies are. I wanna see them spending their money on, what's that word again? Me.
Tell me why he told me that, and I'm gonna assume it's all the girlies from Lipstick Alley, because it's funny to me how these girls are doing so much amazing things in life, but their motive every time they're harassing a woman is to try to find the man's information so that they can like text the dude and like try to finesse their way into like a relationship with the dude. Let me tell y'all something. This is advice, okay? Let me because it's gonna keep beeping. Let me give y'all some advice. That never worked, okay? That any man who is going to take from a random woman, okay, that they know or current girlfriend is probably in a really super desperate situation. And half of the time, if the man does do that, they're just going to sleep with you. Because why would you pick up your phone? I swear to God, you couldn't pay me a fucking $1 billion. Excuse my French. You couldn't pay me $1 billion, okay, to take my phone and look significant other, right? Trying to convince him that he should date you. Why who sits and thinks that that's normal? And then one of the text messages, I might post messages because he showed them to me and then he sent them to me. Didn't respond to anyone. This happened weeks ago because I was away, you know, so he and I finally, like, we had a conversation face to face or whatever, and he was just telling me how he got 3 text messages from 3 different numbers of women simply while I was away. I'm gonna assume this is when I was either in California or in St. Now that, you know, you guys are no longer together, maybe you can date me. They send photos of themselves. I texted the numbers, he never responded to them, but they sent photos of themselves. One of them said she met him in Chicago. Girl, he's never been to Chicago. One of them was like, oh, I met you before you met her in Chicago. Babes, he's never been to Chicago. You really think that he's going to be like, of course, like, I believe you. He has never been to Chicago. When I met this man, he had never been to most states in the US because he's just a workaholic. He works. Every trip from Paris to London to St. Moritz to, other than Turks and Caicos, the first time, every trip was my idea, okay? I was the one that was like, hey, we should go to Paris. Have you ever been? No. Oh, okay. And he booked it. This man is not a traveling type of man. The reason we traveled was because of me, because I said, let's do these. I met you. And you're sending photos like, hey, a date now that you're single. Now that you're single, we should go on a date. You know what I look like. Like, what? What is wrong with you people? Y'all are crazy. That is the most diabolical shit I've ever seen in my life. That is diabolical. And you couldn't pay me $1 million to do that. Because even still, like, even if he was to meet up with one of you guys, a man in general, even if a man was to meet up with you, he would never take you serious. Because guess what? You threw yourself at him. I don't know how many times I have to tell you guys this. When you throw yourself at a man, he's didn't need you to do it. I would never, ever in my existence of life do that. That is weird. To me, I was like, because when he said it to me, I was like, I don't believe you. But I always like facts. I always like proof. I always like a little proof in my phone. So my phone's dead, by the way, so that's why. I always like a little proof in my phone. So when so I had him send it to me, and 3 different people, maybe it's the same person and they were trying to see which one was going to stick, I don't know, but 3 different people sent him text messages like, now that you're no longer with Coco. Keep in mind, he does not refer to me as Coco. So if you wrote the text message and referred to me as Coco, you already sold yourself, because he does not watch my social media content. He does not watch my YouTube content. He does not follow me on Instagram. He does not watch me on Instagram. He barely knows how to use his phone. He doesn't use social media. Anytime he wanted to post something on his business site, I did it. He's not that type of person. So for you to refer to me as Coco, you already gave yourself off. My social media people, not even my first name. They call me by my middle name. He calls me by my first. So, yeah, that's the most desperate thing. I don't think people really understand. People like to say I like to lie, but like, I don't think anyone understands when I say this man's not a trick. There's a difference between a trick and a man who simply met a woman that he was overly infatuated with and decided that he was willing to spend the money that he spent. He's not a trick, okay? When I say after me, if you think you're coming behind me, when I say that you're probably going to have to wait it out before you get gifts, I mean that seriously. I would love for him to have another girlfriend and meet somebody. If that woman happens to be a younger black woman, all I'm telling you is you might have to just keep it cute. Keep it cute for a few months. Keep it cute for a little bit before you start asking for gifts, because as soon as you ask for something, it's going to make him think of me. Because before me, he had never spent the type of money that he spent on any freaking woman. Not even the woman he was dating for 10 years, okay? Prior to me. None of the girls before me. You know, the one girl that met him in 2020, he did not do any of those things. The first person he had ever bought a Chanel bag for was me. First person he had ever bought an Hermes bag for was me. First person to ever give an allowance and do all the things that he did was me. There's a difference between tricks and men that meet a woman and fall in love and madly in love and decide that they're going to give this woman the world. A trick is a man who knows that they have a lot of money and they quite literally don't care. So they will take a woman and trick on her for 6 months or a month, and then they move on to the next woman. That's a trick. If you get a hold of a trick, as soon as get him to start spending. But you cannot think that every man, because they did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for another woman, that they're going to do it for you. I truly don't think that some women understand that men don't always fall for looks. They go for other things other than your looks. So just because a man is with a woman, and if you think that you look better than that woman, he still won't date you. Because it might not be your look that he's not attracted to. It might be your personality. It might be the way you carry yourself. It might be something completely different. He might be like, oh, this girl is very beautiful, but not my type. No, I'm not interested. Because he's not interested in that. He might want something else. So let's remember that as we are trying to meet men, that it's not always about your looks. Sometimes it's the personality. And a man is not going to do the same thing he did for one woman for another woman. So that's just tea on that I wanted to share with you guys, that I actually think that it's hilarious that a few of you think that would actually work, and it doesn't. I mean, keep in mind the man's still paying for this place. Like, the man's still paying for this place. He's still paying for my car. He's still paying. You know what I'm saying? So like, let's be cute. Let's be cute. That is not cute. I don't like that for you guys. That's not gonna work. That's not long-term successful. You might be able to, if a man's really desperate and in need of attention, you might be able to get them to go out to dinner with you, go out to lunch with you. And this is my thing too. I know also that a lot of these women that were doing that, it's just to try to see what they can get so they can say, ha ha, Coco, like, look, ha ha. But you're trying to go towards a man that's literally obsessed with me. It's not going to work. If you think that you will do something or say something that would cause him and I to do this, he's going to run, because he don't want this with me, because he wants me somehow, some way to be in his life, even if it's just being friends. Okay. So you're doing it with a man who is literally obsessed with a woman. If it was a man, like, we know men out there that have slept with so many different women, have different baby mamas, I can see how some women might be like, okay, yeah, he's easy, he's an easy target, I'm gonna go after him. No man that I mess with is gonna be that easy, baby. Was the girl in the pic pretty, at least? A couple, I think 2 sent photos, and then one of them didn't send a photo. But they weren't even introducing themselves. They weren't even like, hey, my name is, it was just simply like, it was literally just a text message. Like, I wish my phone was on. I need to charge it. I wish my phone was on so I could show you guys the text messages. But it was just literally messages like, hey, now that you're single, you're no longer with her, maybe you want to grab a drink with me. And then a photo. The other one is like, oh, you met me in Chicago some years before you met her. You know, maybe we can get dinner or something when I'm in Boston. You can't brag about what a man has done for you without. If you consider it bragging, then you should look internally, because if I'm just posting my life and I happen to be posting bags and you take that as bragging, that is something that you need to look at yourself and say, why do I think that she's bragging about it? Why can't it just be that my content is posting my life, which is, I like bags, okay? So I like to post my bags. Post like clothes, like I shop all the time, but I don't post clothes, and I'm not a stylish girly. Like, I'm a very classic, basic person when it comes to clothes. So I don't post like a bunch of clothes, but I will post like my bags because I like my bags. And then the other thing is, I don't even post my bags on my page, my main page. I post them in my story. They're gone in 24 hours. So if you're watching my story and you're like, she's bragging again. And still, there are women out there that have way more than me. Okay? I'm nothing. Okay? I got nothing compared to what some women have out there. I don't go out of my way to try to find out who their men are and try to text their men. Why would I do that? And this is my thing. Why do it with me? Why don't go for the women that actually have these men that are like up there? You know what I mean? Like, it has nothing to do with them actually wanting anything from him. It's a simple, I just want to go and meet this man if I can, so I can take a photo of it and post it on that hater thread of mine, so that they can sit and say, oh, ha 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 ha, Coco's man, ha 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 ha, Coco this, Coco's ex this, Coco that. That's all it is. They really don't want anything. Let's be for real. That's just what some women's motives are. I'll give you guys another example. When I shared my current man, and I obviously on the live and everything, I told his name and everything, because this is another reason why I said his name, and I just gave out the information, right? With my ex, a lot of people, not a lot of people, but the people that didn't like me, they were digging up his name and knowing what he does for work and digging up my address to try to like taunt me online. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Because it wasn't even like I was hiding his information, hiding his name, because I didn't want people to know that I was with an older guy or I was with a Caucasian guy or whatever the case might be. The reason why I just never shared that information was because he's just not a person on social media, you know? And the fact that I did that actually caused they went digging and digging and digging and digging, spent days, okay, on what do you call it? The listing for apartments in Boston to find my apartment, okay? Not days, hours. They spent hours to get that information. Posted it. When it was to figure out, like when you go to a hotel and you tell them like it's like a special day, it's birthday or handwritten note, and at the end of it they wrote his name, his last, and it was kind of blurry, and the last thing that you could see was like the last four of his last name. They went and sat on LinkedIn for how many days and went and found this swearing up and down that he was, just to find out 2 years later they swore up and down I towards that man. And I guess that's why they swore up and down that I was with a married man, because Mike Walkiewicz, I think, I'm not sure, maybe he's married or something. Just for 2 years later for them to realize like, oh, you know, that was actually her man. That's not her man's name. So the reason why I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just take the power away from you guys. My man's name is Tim. This is what he looks like, you know. Here's his last name. You want to go on LinkedIn, but y'all fucked up. Y'all fucked up. Let me tell you why y'all fucked up. He's in biotech, okay? He's up there, okay? His LinkedIn, as soon as you click on his LinkedIn, he gets an alert on his phone. So that day, after I told you guys who he was and what his name was and what he did, all of you, I mean, we got girls from Boston, we've got girls in Miami, we've got girls in freaking foreign countries, like, I don't know if it was London, Germany, Switzerland. We got girls from there on his LinkedIn. And I literally said to myself, I was like, I could be petty right now. And just post this and be like, y'all are slow. Because I get it that some people's LinkedIn isn't like at that level, but his company, they gave him the highest level of LinkedIn, like on the professional part. So when y'all clicked on him, when you guys clicked on his thing, you didn't have to request him. You didn't have to try to connect with him. Okay, you didn't have to request him. You didn't have to send him a message. You just had to click on it. And y'all did. Oh. Who was looking? And it actually doesn't. You have to have like a premium account. Or do you have, like, I have a LinkedIn. I have a basic LinkedIn. It doesn't tell me who was looking me up. She said, not all of you. No, I'm not saying every single person on this live. She said it's a LinkedIn thing. If you click on someone's profile, it'll show you who looked at your page. Oh, I didn't know that. I don't get those. So I only thought that happened because he has a premium account. So he just woke up and was like, he was like, people looking at my thing. I was like, but you know, I think 2 or 3 of the real account. Everybody else did it from their real account with their faces and everything. Face, real name, what they do for work. I was shocked. That's what I'm saying. Some people are like, all of LinkedIn do that. No, I think some of you guys might have premium accounts because mine doesn't do that. And yeah, I don't know. She said I once deleted LinkedIn a couple of years ago because I stalked someone's profile. Girl, not that much drama. This is actually not drama because I just chose to ignore it. I was just like, oh, okay. At least now I have an idea of who is digging that hard. And obviously, what would I do? I would go on my Instagram and I would type in their names and see if they follow me, and of course they did. And I was like, okay, cool, noted. Type the next name in. I look at it like, oh, noted. But it's not drama. Like, it wasn't anything. He was just like, oh my God, like after you shared that you and I are together and we're dating and all that stuff, I got a lot of LinkedIn, eyes, basically. He got a lot of eyes on his profile. And I was like, oh, you did? He was like, yeah. I was like, screenshot them and send it to me. And so he did. I recognized a couple of the girlies, that follow me. And I was like, okay. I communicated with her. I'm like, oh, I wonder what made her decide that she wanted to look, but okay. And then obviously there were a couple that I could tell that were fake. Some were from, with the fake name and fake profile picture. It was only like 2 or 3 that had actually the sense to use their fake LinkedIn. Everybody else was stupid. They used their real name, like the ones from Boston too. I'm like, oh, really? Like, what the hell? Like, why wouldn't you go and use a fake? Why would you use a fake LinkedIn? Why would you use a real one? Does he have any tall friends?